Hello, in this video I'll show you how I took one of the first games I ever made and remade it in Roblox in 72 hours. So basically the game is going to be like a simulator where you gather potatoes to then buy better tools to then gather more potatoes faster. And I know that this sounds like every other Roblox game ever made, but don't you worry, I have quite a couple of things planned to make this game stand out. But before that, let's start with the basics. So before getting into any of the more unique stuff, let's start with the not so unique stuff. So I made this crop and then I made the player be able to spawn a hitbox in front of himself, and when that hitbox hits a crop, a potato drops. And just like that, we have like 90% of the gameplay done for every simulator ever. So let's get into some of the more unique parts of this game, the combat. Now, I wanted for the combat in this game to be really readable and actually skill-based, not just stand still and spam left click. So I made this enemy farmer AI, and simply all this AI does is check for any nearby players, and when it's found a player, it just moves straight towards it until it reaches a certain distance. Then it aims and shoots. This makes it really readable when it's about to shoot and when you need to dodge. Then I made it so that the player can hit the farmer with its hitbox, and just like that, my simulator had combat. Alright, it may have had a couple of problems, but it just a couple of hours and then that was all fixed pretty much. So let's move on to making the visuals. Now we're making the So first I made this scythe for the player and positioned it at the hand, please. I just hate how you can't just parent something in Roblox and have it, you know, be parented. And for those who don't know, parenting something in Roblox literally doesn't do anything. And in all other game engines ever, if you parent something, it's going to follow the other part. But no, Roblox just has to be unique. So you have to weld it, and the welding just sucks. I'm pretty sure that this shit hasn't changed since Roblox came out. Oh wait, it basically hasn't. This sucks because if you weld something beforehand and then move it, Roblox just forgets the weld ever existed in the first place. So you always have to weld stuff to the player with code, and then you have to place it on a different rig, and it always just becomes a big mess. But after going through that nightmare again, after having to go through the exact same process with my other game, we had a beautiful weapon welded to the player. And with that, I wanted for the player to be able to do something with his potatoes. So I made this simple shop using Roblox's extremely stupid scrolling frames, but I've complained enough, so I won't even get into that. And just like that, I had a very simple shop system. And then I went and made a couple of variations of the scythe model I already had, a super hardened version and a fully hardened version and regular hardened version. Now look, this doesn't really scream unique or cool or looks good or anything, but I needed for there to be content in the game, and I don't really have a lot of time to work with. Then I made them all buyable, and I made the better ones have better stats like range and damage. And now that the player has something to do, I want for him to be able to do it in a bit more of a pretty place than the Roblox starter base plate. So I actually cheated a bit in this challenge and had my friend help me. He's currently trying his best to learn Blender, and well, it's been a bit tough at times. But if he weren't to have been so stubborn about me teaching him and instead used this video's sponsor Skillshare, I genuinely believe that he would have had a way smoother learning experience. Skillshare is the largest online learning community for creatives with thousands of classes led by industry experts across film, illustration, design, freelance, productivity, and more. Skillshare can help you take your career, skills, hobbies, passion, or side hustle to the next level. I'm going to be repeating myself a bit here from my last video, but genuinely a lot of you have still been asking me how to learn game development or video editing, and my genuine recommendation would be to just go to one of Skillshare's many classes made by actual professionals. They have amazing video editing courses, Roblox development courses, and 3D modeling courses. I'm actually taking Marquise Brownlee's YouTube success course myself, which teaches all about editing and everything and how to gain success in YouTube by someone way more successful than me. And the first 500 people to use my link in the description will receive a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. Get started today. Alright, but after all of this struggling, we actually managed to put together a decent looking map map-ish. Now, two things. Some smaller props were taken from the toolbox just because of our limited time, and the map really is quite small. But don't you worry, because as you're watching this video, we are already working on an update for both this game and for AvapXia. And if you haven't seen my devlogs on AvapXia, it's my main passion project, fast-paced horror game that I'm making. But back to this game, currently there's a big issue. There's barely any content still. So I have to choose what I want to prioritize making before my 72 hours are up. So it's either A, more enemies, B, a bigger map, or C, more and cooler weapons. So I decided to go with making more weapons and leaving the rest to the next update. So first I made this life scythe that one-shots deformers but doesn't have as big of a gathering range as the fully hardened scythe. Then I made this golem scythe, why it's called that will become more clear in the next devlog. But simply the golem scythe is the most expensive and the best in the game at the moment. And with that, thank you guys. Okay, hello editing me here. I'm only now realizing that I completely forgot to cover a couple of topics, so I'll just quickly go through them now. First, the life seeds. Life seeds drop from any defeated enemy, and with the life seeds you can buy the life scythe, which gives you 3 times more life seeds. I also have like these classic world separation borders that every simulator has, so I don't really have to get into that. And also I made the crops in the more later areas of the game give you more potatoes when you harvest them. Alright, that's pretty much it. Back to the outro. So much for watching. If you want to play this game yourself, it's called Potato Paradise. I'll have a link for it in the description. It's out for all platforms pretty much. And thank you again to Skillshare for sponsoring this video. And if you want to help out in making both this game and especially AvapXia, then I have created a Patreon with different tiers, all giving you different perks and whatnot. And every single penny from this Patreon will go directly into making even cooler games in the future. And hopefully sort of trying my best to revive Roblox from this extremely low standard that a lot of the top games currently have. Not that this game is any better yet. Trust me, I have big plans for it, but right now it's sort of a bit generic, I guess. And I also want to again thank you guys so much. It's been amazing. These past couple of videos have performed way better than I could have ever expected, and it's really been a dream come true. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I'll have a new video out in March, so I'll see you guys then.